Well, guys, I'm going to start this video. I want to consider it the second one in the series of 2008 Chevy Suburban. And this is going to be kind of a prelude to what I did and some of the mistakes that were made up front. So, really quick, before we get started with this video, I want to tell you this was a fail. Do not do what I did, and that is to pull that throttle body off and clean it. Do not do that. I found out that that is not acceptable in the Gen 4s. If you pull that throttle body off and you move it, and I'm talking about the throttle blade itself, and then you put it back on, apparently this computer system in the Gen 4s is stupid and does not know that you did that, and all of a sudden it has to have a relearn. And to do it right, you honestly have to take it to somebody that has that computer, whether it be HP, whether it be General Motors computer, or a shop that actually pays for that relearn system, because it will not work right when you're done. So if it is your only mode of transportation, do not take that throttle body off and clean it like you're about to see me do. Luckily I have 500 other vehicles to drive, so it wasn't a big deal for me. However, I have taken this out several times. There is a relearn curve, and it will relearn itself, but it could be anywhere from 40 miles to 200 miles of learning, and that has to be above 45 miles an hour. It has to be several accelerations and decelerations, and it has taken many, many miles for this thing to relearn, and it's still not right. It's better, and it's drivable, but when I first put this throttle body back on, it was almost undrivable. So I'm just letting you know up front, do not pull that throttle body like you're about to see me do. The reason I'm putting this video in is because I said I was going to do dollar for dollar, minute by minute video of how to fix this for $1,000. And I've had many failures on this. I've got all the videos done already. I don't have any of them out. This will be kind of the second one in the series. And I have had many fails. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I ran into, some of the things not to do, and learn from my challenges, from my experience, from my doing it by hand, and watch other guys' videos before you start any project on your own. I did not know that this was going to be a problem. My 76 Malibu you see out in front of my pickup truck, which is an 01, the Malibu is a 76, you barely see it up there, that has a 5.3 in it. That is also drive-by-wire from a 2003 Tahoe. I pulled that throttle body off and replaced it and messed around with it, and I had no troubles with this on the Gen 3s. And the reason why, I think, is because they have their own computer for the drive-by-wire. These do not, the Gen 4s do not. So with that said, when you look down there and you see that computer right there, that now runs all of it. And on the Gen 3s, it's not that way. They have their own separate computer for that. And apparently it knows how to do other things. So what you're going to see here, right now it's running because I've got some engine cleaner in it. So I'm letting it run for 20 minutes. What you're seeing here, this is live data. And what you're looking at is TPS, throttle position sensor. That was the problem I was having. That was the code I was having. You're going to see here in a minute. And as you see, it's at 16.9 because it's idle. It is completely warm at 210 degrees. It's idling fine. But what my problem is when I was revving it up, see, it's holding. My foot is off the pedal, and it was holding that. If you went above 1500 RPM, it was holding at 3000 RPM, and you literally had to shut it off. It is now to the point where it will come down. If you watch the throttle, I just goosed it. It is now at 2500, 2300, and it is, my foot has been off the pedal this whole time. And it is actually not coming down even on its own. And it's holding that TPS at 27.1. So see, it really is not much better than it was. I mean, my foot is not on the pedal, guys. So there's some learning curve there on this, and it is getting better, but it's still not right. How I've been shutting it off or making it go down is turning the air conditioner on. And as soon as that kicks on, it must pull enough juice out of it that it actually then set it back down. Well, the check engine light just came back on, and I think that's because it's going to show me a high idle. And so even though I got rid of the code that was originally the problem, I now have a new code that comes and goes because of this not actually learning. So I'm going to tell you up front, I'll go ahead and throw the video up on me taking that throttle body off, but I am telling you, do not do it unless you have somebody already set up to do the relearn on, or you have the capability of doing it yourself. So I'm just FYI, do it at your own risk. All right, so we're going to start on the 2008 Suburban. And I decided the first thing I'm going to look at is the P0121, which is throttle position. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to fix it doing this way, but we're going to find out, because anything I've seen on YouTube, which I watch a lot of YouTube, so I'm not just a, you know, not, I guess they call us a creator. Guy makes videos, but you know, I also watch a lot of YouTube, and I've learned a lot. This is one of the reasons why I started doing this channel. The big one was for a car that I haven't been working on for the last year and a half. But either way, let's get back onto this. The biggest problem with these is that they carbon up, especially with this many miles on. You're talking something with over 200,000 miles on it, and they have a tendency to carbon up behind them, and throttle position can't get an accurate reading. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the throttle body off. The advantages to the Gen 4 over the Gen 3 is there's no coolant lines running through the actual throttle body itself, and the Gen 3s do. One of the reasons I picked the Gen 4 was, well, one is because of that. Two is the internals are a little bit better. I was told they definitely got flat top pistons over dished on the 5.3s of these years. It has electric cooling fans instead of the air beater, which I know 2005 up on the Gen 3s had them, on the half tons anyway. But anyway, there was several reasons why I wanted the Gen 4. But we're going to get started with this throttle body. So pull your engine cover. It just basically pops up. Some of them bolt. This one does not. It just has a couple of prong. You know, it slides into, I'm not sure if you're seeing this, it basically slides into the deal in the back, and then it has two rubber plugs. Sometimes these will stay on the pins. Just got to take them, put them back on this. They'll actually, sometimes the rubber actually stick on these pins right here. All right, now we're going to pull the air cleaner. You don't have to pull the whole thing, but we do need to get this part of it out of the way. I'm not going to take the whole mass air sensor off. I'm just going to take this part off. Now, this is also pinned right here, so if you try to jerk this straight off, it's not going to come off. You kind of have to mess with that to try to get that pried free. And don't push on your sensors up here, or this plastic deal here. Try to, you know, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But try not to push where you're going to break something. You don't need to make more of a mess than you've already got. So there's also a tube that runs off of it. It's like a PV, that hurt, PCB deal that hooks to it. I'll show it to you when we get this off here. Let me get it off of this first, I guess. Once you get it off that mass air, it allows pressure off, and then this thing should pop right off there. There it goes. And it popped right back on. Come on. The only other thing that hooks to it is this little deal here. It's a part of it's actually hooked your top radiator hose. It actually goes up into a plastic fitting that's on this. It's actually hard to see, but it's actually right here. This thing's all backwards and sideways. But anyway, that's where that goes. So don't be surprised. You got to take that off, or it won't. Once it's been off a few times, half the time it won't get stuck back in, or it won't stay back in there. So don't look at this baggie. I'll show you that here in a minute. But here's that tube we took off. It actually goes to the top valve cover on this side. So it's kind of it's not PCV, but it is it is ventilation. You've already got your PCV. I think it's hooked to the back of the other, goes straight in the intake manifold. This one is hooked to the other side and actually pulls before it goes to throttle body. They're kind of all that way. Okay, now it's off there. You basically have one wire. So you get the little gray plastic clip on it. I need a smaller screwdriver, I'll use this big one. Just basically pull this back a little bit, and then you can't see what I'm doing. I'll show you. I basically put some pressure behind here and pull this out. Otherwise it's stuck in there like this. Sometimes you can just grab a hold of it and pull it like that, and it comes out. Once it does that, and you push down right here on this, and that releases, and then this thing just pulls right off. It's a pretty simple setup. So don't grab and jerk and pull, and do it really easy and slow. All right, now you have 4 10mm tour bolts, tour nuts. The Gen 3s only have 3. Gen 4s have 4. So I'm going to use this. Bottom bolt. Set them somewhere they don't roll away and you lose them. And then this thing, just pull straight off. This is really, really simple. This does not take that long. I don't know what a garage would charge you to pull this. This does have a reusable O-ring. With this many miles on it, it's probably not a bad idea to replace it. Let me kick the camera. Basically though, what you're looking at is this thing starts getting a lot of garbage built up in it. And they say if you just clean this out, generally that will fix the problem. I'm not saying it's going to fix the problem, but pretty much everything I've seen, see how much carbon and stuff gets built up in there. So anyway, we're going to start cleaning that. So I'll set you up here and we'll start cleaning that out. Okay, so basically I just got a can of gum out, Carb and choke cleaner. There's different things out there you can use, but that's what I grabbed. So basically start cleaning her off, and it does it pretty quick. It'll start cleaning it off. Kind of let it soak in there a little bit, and it will run out because there's supposed to be a little bit of you're supposed to be able to see light around this thing even in closed position. That's how it gets air when you're at an idle, to keep the engine running, because if it closed 100% off you wouldn't get any air and it would die. And actually that's a quick way to know if you have a huge vacuum leak, because you can actually pull your air intake system off and plug this off, and if the thing stays running, you've got a pretty good vacuum leak. I'll turn it over, spray this side a little bit too. You may have to do a little scraping. It's not really going to hurt this thing to push it open, because there actually is a motor. You can actually hear it. That's okay. You're not hurting anything by doing that. I wouldn't do it a lot, but you're not going to hurt it, because if you think about it, that's what it does all the time when you're driving. It's always moving. Now this may not fix this. It may need a throttle body. They say that you can get in here and pull these little clippies and get in there and work on that, but I don't know what these cost yet, so it may be out of my budget to do it. But if you only have 1 or 2 problems, or this specific problem, this is this is a quick and easy, cheap way to. It only took me 5 minutes to take it off. It's only going to take me about 5-10 minutes to clean it, and 5 minutes to put it back on. So you're only talking 15 minutes of your day, to worst case 30 minutes. So it's not like you're you're rebuilding a transmission or something. While that soaks in a little bit, let me get a couple of snot rags here. Okay. Well, aren't these things worth gold now, I'm probably in front of the camera. Alright, so I also brought a small screwdriver over. I'm just going to scrape just a little bit. Not much. Just a little bit. I know you can't really probably see what I'm doing. I'm just making sure that this stuff isn't... I'm not gouging. And you can feel it. It's got some chunkies in it, so it's in there pretty good. So don't, like I said, don't kill it. It also gets around, the butterfly itself. So maybe you can see that or not. I'm holding it up, but I'm not sure what you're looking at. I should turn the thing around so I can see, but you can see there's a lot of carbon. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. It's not only carbon, but it's oil buildup. Because the problem with these is the way that the EGR system works. You know, you're putting a lot of that, some of that stuff back in front of your throttle body, and it's always going back into the intake system. And unfortunately, I know you probably can't see what I'm doing. I'm just wiping it out a little bit here and there until you get her done. Like I said, it's dirty. Some of this stuff, guys, you know, and I understand some of you live in apartments, some of you may not have a shop, and you're out there in maybe miserable weather, you don't have some of the right tools, and believe me, I've done that same thing. I've worked in the street, I've worked in people's driveways, and you know, I don't have to do it anymore, but there was times, and sometimes you do it out of necessity. You don't have the money to take it to a shop, or, you know, and all your friends are, oh, I can fix it, and while they got their beer in their hand and a hammer, you know, it's like, well, I'm not sure I want this guy working on my stuff, and I'm not saying he'd do any worse, but, you know, So, but doing this yourself, it'll just save you all kinds of money. You get outside, or in your garage, at least do something. That thing is pretty bad. I may have to go find a little brush, and I'm talking about something easy, not scratch everything. All these do is meter air. You know, it's not like that's getting better. It's not like you got fuel running through it where you can't scuff and gouge because you have exhaust or air or gasoline running through it. But you also want it as smooth and clean as possible. You don't want a bunch of gouges in it, because if you get too bad, you can end up it doesn't idle right. You know, it's holding the throttle plate. Like if you damage the throttle blade or something, you really don't want to do that either. So you don't get abusive. Don't drop it. Don't take a hammer, screwdrivers, and just start gouging and hammering, you know, chunks of stuff out. There are small holes in here, at least there was on the Gen 3s, where the air, you could pick it up. That way it knew, you know, it had air going through it, and that's possibly why that TPS is showing up, is it's not showing a meter going through it anymore. I mean, I know these only just, they do what they're told. Basically, your foot pedal tells the computer, I need 3/4 throttle, because I'm passing somebody, I'm jumping on it, I'm taking off, whatever. It doesn't matter what number you pick. Okay, and then it has its own, at least Gen 3s had their own computer system for the drive-by-wire, and what it would do is then it told this what to do. And actually, remarkably, it happened all pretty fast. I was always sitting there thinking, man, you've got such a lag from the time your foot tells everything what to do, but it is actually very fast. From the time you hit the throttle till the time you get a response, it's actually pretty quick. So, it's amazing how many people are out in their front yards. This is in the middle of that coronavirus garbage, so my wife is working very few hours. I'm actually still working nights right now. I've been doing it a lot. I've had the last couple of days off, and yeah, there's still, of course, people still have to go to work, still have to make money, still got to go to the store, still got to pay your bills. If you think for a second you're not going to you're going to get away with not paying anything, good luck with that. Let me see what this looks like. That side looks better. Well, you're probably not seeing what I'm doing. I wish this side was a little better. I'm not seeing the hole like the Gen 3s had. I swear it had one in it where, yeah, I know it had an opening in it, but I'm not sure how. I hate to say this, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here that's actually going to make any difference, because like I said, I watched the videos and 2 or 3 people were doing this, so I mean, this must be a common occurrence. I'm also making sure that there's no defects where maybe it was pulling air around here or something, but no, it all looks good. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. So I'm going to call this. Let's go back over and got a hole in my glove. Let's go over and put her back on.